Oh boy. So I went to an advanced screening for Batman v Superman last night, and let us just say, I wasn't a fan. But I went into the movie expecting it to be what I saw. Anyway, I'm sure my Batman v Superman review will put a lot of people off. So before I release my Batman v Superman review later on today, I am going to share some of my more controversial reviews. Because I just don't give a shit, and, more importantly, so you'll know how to interpret my review for Batman v Superman. Based on this quick video, let's begin. My review for Deadpool. Yeah, I'm going to get some heat for this review, but I don't care. I'm seriously considering ranking this movie a 1 out of 10, just because how pornographic it seemed. Honestly, the movie is very fun and could have been a great time for everyone if the producers of the film didn't decide to cater to the manchild virgins out there. Without all the raunchy crap, I would rank the movie around an 8 or 9. A few people did walk out with their children during the film for understandable reasons, and that is what pisses me off the most. The people who made this movie know Deadpool inside and out, so it stands to reason that they should know what demographic reads Deadpool comics. Just thinking about it pisses me off. There was literally no reason why they had to put out a hard R film. They could have even made the movie PG-13 if they wanted. I don't mind a graphic movie, but I do mind a graphic movie targeted at children. If the sequel does the same thing, I'm not going to spend a penny on it. Next, my review for the Ash vs. Evil Dead series. Ash vs. the Evil Dead was a letdown. Just so you know where I'm coming from, I've seen all 3 Evil Dead films multiple times, and even like the reboot remake that came out back in 2013. I'm not saying I loved Evil Dead 2013, but I didn't rage hate it like most hardcore fans of the series. Anyway, like many fans, I was pumped about Ash vs. the Evil Dead. I would have preferred it if they just made another Evil Dead movie, but whatever. I honestly gave the show a real shot. I watched up to episode 5 before I quit watching because the series is frankly lame. The 2 hipsters tagging along with Ash are so out of place it isn't even funny and takes you out of the show. Anyway, a friend told me I really needed to watch episode 8, so I went back and continued the series where I left off, and I'm so glad I did. I'm not sure if it was the magic of seeing Ash back in the cabin doing his thing, or the fact the stupid tag-alongs weren't given much screen time, but the 8th episode in the series is outstanding. Then I made the mistake of watching episodes 9 and 10. As you can guess, I will not be watching season 2. My review for Batman. Bad Blood. DC had the best animated films, especially the Batman stuff, but now we get pure garbage. After Flashpoint Paradox, which is one of the best DCU films, it has just been going downhill and not stopping. There was a little bit of hope with Batman vs. Robin and even the animated Suicide Squad movie, but after watching this trash, after watching Batman Bad Blood, I am officially giving up on all upcoming DC animated films. They can't wait for Cartoon Network for all I care. I guess my main issue is Batwoman. She takes up the majority of this film and makes it nearly unwatchable. The people marketing this lame piece of trash knew they couldn't call the movie Batwoman Bad Blood because no one would buy it. Batwoman is a painfully one-dimensional character and boring as all heck. She is just upset off all the time and seems to only care about herself. In the beginning of the film, her lack of training nearly gets Batman killed and thought dead by everyone. When discussing Batman's death, she doesn't seem to care much. On top of that, this stupid movie forces us to watch Batwoman's dating life and her relationship with her father and other things unrelated to the plot whatsoever. And we get to see her lame origin story, and it is laughably awful. The pacing of the movie is just terrible. The action is well done, but the storyline makes you not really give a shit. My review for Inside Out. It is a fun little film. Pixar can do no wrong. It is almost scary how good Pixar films are when you see them. I think their magic comes from just taking their time and telling an actual story. Anyway, the psych in this film is a little off, but I'm going to overlook it. Was it 5 emotions? Anyway, the films does drag a little because what's her name has raced to City 2. City and etc., but let us talk brass tacks. Bing Bong. Freaking Bing Bong saved the movie for me and his final scene. Damn, Pixar knows how to play us. Anyway, it isn't one of their bests, but still a good film. My review for Poltergeist. I watched this piece of crap about a few months ago and I hardly remember anything about it. All I remember is it being boring as all hell and wishing it would end. I cannot compare it to the original Poltergeist film because I haven't seen it. All I remember is Sam Rockwell digging, or doing something. No, really, this movie is just that unmemorable. If anything scary happened, I would have remembered. I think the major issue with this film is the directing. I honestly cannot blame any of the actors, or the budget. Easily one of the worst films of 2015. My review for Mad Max, Fury Road. I feel like I am the only person on planet Earth who didn't like Fury Road. It is basically a movie about a guy making a U-turn. I'll admit, the visuals are great, but I've seen most of George Miller's films and he has an eye. But just because a movie looks pretty doesn't make it a good movie. It needs a real story. This is a 2-hour car chase and it gets boring after 30 minutes because it is literally the same crap over and over again. In a way, the action is wasted on the film because it has nothing but action. I can't be the only person who thinks this. What is wrong with you people? This isn't art. Stop pretending to be film snobs for like 5 minutes and just go with what your gut tells you about the film. Just because most of the film critics are calling this a highbrow art house film doesn't mean you have to go against your better judgment and pretend to like this piece of waste. 90% of the critics are paid off, even the ones on YouTube. Think for yourself. People will respect you more. My review for The Hateful Eight. The characters in this film are grand. The setting in the film is grand. The plot in this film is grand. With all the grandness and masterful set pieces to work with, the film suffers from generic dialogue and no memorable moments. Some people are in love with this film, and I can understand why, because this is the first time some people are seeing this kind of film. But for movie buffs like myself, we've seen spaghetti westerns before, so the harsh setting and brutal characters are nothing new. The story is well told and the plot is interesting enough, but this film is a Tarantino film. So where is the sharp dialogue? Where are the memorable and quotable moments? The answer is there are none, and that is why I am giving this film a 7 out of 10. Tarantino just didn't give the film the little extra push needed to make it a memorable Tarantino film. I wonder if the flat dialogue had anything to do with the script of the film being leaked early on. Did Tarantino change some of the dialogue as a way of making the movie a little different? Who knows? Who cares? The film is still enjoyable, but it isn't a Tarantino film you will be watching over and over again. And now, finally, my most controversial review to date. My review for Star Wars The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens rant. So I watched Star Wars The Force Awakens twice around the time it first hit theaters. I had to watch it twice just to make sure I didn't like it, out of respect for the original films. The first 30 minutes of the movie is amazing. You get that Star Wars feeling and actually care about the new characters. Right about the time Han Solo enters the film, things surprisingly start to drag. The plot starts becoming convenient and predictable. And I'm not even talking about the major plot points the film rips off from episode 4 and 5 and even 6. Safe is a perfect way to describe this film. Safe and boring. I didn't even care when they were taking out the super mega Death Star. And I don't even think Jar Jar Abrams gave a shit. Who knows? Maybe it isn't his fault. Maybe Disney told him to remake episode 4 because they do not respect Star Wars fans enough to give them an actual movie. This wasn't a movie. It was propaganda begging Star Wars fans to like the new cast and new direction by treating us like babies and sandwiching in nostalgia in between recycled plot points. And the character of Rey. She was likable until she became a Mary Sue. I'm glad what's-his-name had the balls to call her out on it because no other critic did. She became an unstoppable Jedi Master within seconds, and just because we're all guessing she was probably trained by Luke as a child. But that doesn't make it any less boring or believable to watch. The lightsaber fight between Kylo Ren and Rey is just laughable. I'm sure Rey is supercharged with the Force or whatever other bullshit, but the fight wasn't believable to watch on the big screen. Strong female characters are one thing. Watching Uma Thurman kick butt all over Kill Bill 1 and 2 is believable because she is a strong female character based on something called character development. The movie was just lazy. After the first 30 minutes, it was just lazy and bad filmmaking. The reviews of the film are bullshit. It isn't anywhere near as good as episode 4 through 6 or even episode 3 for that matter. I wonder if the hype train was this bad with Phantom Menace. The Force Awakens isn't a Star Wars movie. It is Star Wars fanfiction at best. And don't even get me started on Kylo Ren. At least BB-8 was good. Star Wars is dead. And this ends my most controversial reviews. Thank you for watching and be sure to hit the thumbs down button.